Hello, I'm Ron Miscavige, and this is Story Time, and I am your storyteller. Now, today's story is, if I say a bit amusing, I'm understating it. But before I get into the actual story itself, let me tell you some of the things that happens when you're a salesman. Well, at least it happened to me and people I've been associated with. As an example, I had a group of men. I had about 22 guys working for me at one point. And one of the guys' names was John Smolk, and he lived about 125 miles north of where I lived, what we call upstate Pennsylvania. John Smolk is out working, and he goes up to a door, raps on the door. It's the summertime, doesn't see anybody there, raps on the door. Within seconds, somebody knocks the door open, grabs him, and starts choking him. Guy, mentally challenged, living at home, they're taking care of him. Nobody was watching him. John just beats him off, goes to work, takes it in stride. Bob Vataco, a very dear friend of mine, we're out working one day, out in the farm area, and there was a white picket fence. We went in through the fence, went up to the door, rapped on the door, and for some reason, just other than looking to the left, we see this German Shepherd in the field coming at us like 50 miles an hour. We hightailed it out of there, jumped the fence, got in his car, which was an MG. If you're not familiar with that, that's a low sports car with the top down, a two-seater. Starts it, puts it in gear, and pulling away. The dog jumps the fence, and he's trying to bite my head and my neck, and I have to beat him off. We just go to the next call. So this was like normal. Not really, but it was, I say, things you got to take in stride. Now, the story I'm going to tell you today takes place in a little town called Feasterville, which is a town a little bit north of Philadelphia. And, of course, in those days I was selling cookware, and one of the things I would do is I would go to a house and have the sponsor of the party invite 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people over. 6 people was a bit large. That's a lot of people to contend with as an individual. But I would go over and I'd make a roast beef, maybe cooked cabbage, waterless, very tasty, retains all the nutrients, maybe carrots. And then I would bake a cake in the frying pan on top of the stove, which was great for people to see because normally you have to heat up the oven, heat up the whole house. This cooker was even heating, so it produced a little oven inside the frying pan on top of the stove. So now, the girl who sponsored it, very friendly girl, she has 6 of her friends over. I'm in the house, and I'm getting the meal going, and I'll be honest with you, I'm like a one-armed paper hanger because I'm talking to the people at the same time I'm putting the stuff on the stove, timing things, making sure everything is happening. So I realized I was running out of time, so the girl's brother, who was standing right next to me, watching me, I said, listen, could you take this cake mix and follow the instructions, put it in a bowl, and I'm going to put it in the frying pan to bake a cake. He says, yeah, I'll do that. So I gave it to him. So I felt a little bit relieved and just went on with what I was doing. Served the meal. Everybody was very pleased with it. And then at the very end, kind of as to top off the evening, I took the frying pan off the stove. The cake is baked in there. You can see it's risen. Took a plate, put it on top, turned it up, and there's the cake, baked right on top of the stove, showed it to everybody. They go, oh, isn't that great? And within about 20 seconds, the cake went right down to like a flat pancake. Found out later the kid put double the amount of water in the recipe. Anyway, the girl who sponsored it said, that's okay, I'll take a taste of that. Let me take it. And she took a slice of it and ate it. I didn't even ask her to do it, and I thought, is that wise? Anyway, the party was successful. All 6 of the girls bought cookware from me. Wonderful evening. The girl got a bonus for doing this. I go home. Now, let's go about maybe 6 or 7 months up in time. I'm in a little office in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, which is right across the bridge from Trenton. And I'm recruiting people. In other words, I had ads in the newspaper for people to come in if they wanted to make some extra money in their part-time. And actually that night, this is unbelievable, a guy come in who looked just like Adolf Hitler. And I tried to be nice to the guy, and I'm not going to say to him, look, who the hell is going to deal with you? You look like Hitler, you know. But I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll call you. Let me just think it over. Okay, next kid comes in, and I'm talking to him, and there's something familiar about him. And I says, where do you live? He said, Feasterville. I said, really? He says, don't you remember you come out and you cooked a meal? My sister had 6 of her friends over. I said, oh, I remember, and you helped me make that cake. He says, yeah, that's right. Wow, I said, how you doing? He says, good. He says, I don't know if you know this, but you know what happened after you left? I said, well, not really. He said, we had to take my sister to the hospital to have her stomach pumped. It took the air out of me. I thought, what the hell am I going to say? I said, no kidding, you know. I mean, what do you say? Now, if I had been prepared, it wouldn't have gone that way. And that brings me to the point of this, and I'm going to introduce you to something right now. And this is called the Monkey Stomach Pump. This is the original model. This is not a knockoff. This is heavy duty. And just let me show you something. Listen to this. That'll pump anybody's stomach. Let me tell you, man. This is the real deal. Look, if I had been prepared, they could have called me and said, hey, Ron, I think my sister, our daughter or my sister needs her stomach pumped. I said, I'll be right over. Take this over. Boom. Pump her stomach. I could have saved her a lot of money. How about yourself? Maybe you don't feel good sometime. You can pump your own stomach. Why go to the hospital and spend all that money? Now, as a special offer today, this is $99.95, and if you order it within the next 20 minutes, I'll send you a copy of every album ever made. Obviously, I'm having a little fun. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, there is a lesson to be learned, and I'll tell you what it is. Always be prepared. I'm not talking about getting your own stomach pump, obviously. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say you have a 2-story house. Do you have a fire extinguisher in the basement, first and second floors? Maybe you do. Do you know where they are? Do you know if they're filled up? How about your circuit breaker box? Do you know where every circuit is for all the things in your house, or at least are familiar with it? How about the water cutoff valve? I live in Wisconsin, and sometimes the weather is so severe you have pipes burst. If a pipe were to burst, could you run down in the basement, go right to that turn-off valve, and cut off the water? Well, that's today's lesson. Always be prepared. And also the purpose of today's lesson was just to give you a little relief from all the things that are going on in life right now, and maybe a little break from reality, have a little fun, a little laugh. I hope you did enjoy this, and check out all the things I mentioned, and maybe some other stuff you can think about being prepared. I think it's a good idea. Now, as a little note, I didn't say this at the beginning, but I'd like to mention it now. If you haven't subscribed to this program, if you would do so, I would appreciate it very much. And when you do it, hit the little bell so when we come out with a new video on this or any of the other ones I have on my website, you'll be notified. And then if you'd like to contribute to this, to the ongoingness of this program, all my links are in the description of this video. Okay? So that was today's story time / life lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a little bit of a laugh and some enjoyment for this moment. And finally, what I would like to say to you is this. I really do wish that you have a happy, successful, healthy life. I'd also like to say God bless all of you, and God bless America. My name is Ron Miscavige. This has been Storytime. I will see you on the next episode of Storytime. Bye-bye for now.